My friends, Animanga is back with another What If series tournament. This one is known as Jim's Harsh Training. So, are you mates ready? You ready to go to the Outback? Let's go. There are only 22 duelists this time, which are way less than usual because I only put two in because they're the two guides to try to make sure that they don't all die on this trip of training trip. Now let's start with Jamie's five. Cleo, clearly, obviously, a Cleopatra name ripoff in person, but we'll just go with Cleo, right? Cleo is the older sister of Kebichet. She doesn't like violence and is a big fan of Ishizu's Necker Valley strategy, which is why she runs Dimensional Fisher. Why even let them hit the graveyard? She's been looking for a job, and Kebichet said that she could ask a friend of hers to get her one. She asked Justice, and he was happy to help a friend out. Justice hired her and asked her to apply to be a teacher at Jim's school. She decided to teach some ancient survival techniques. She jots down any important info and hides it in a journal. You know what? Wholesome lore, wholesome lore. Next up, we haven't seen her in a while, but it's Jasmine Thunder. Made it back with everyone but one person. She let Justice know Rosaria was taken to a weird detention place. She also told him she was embarrassed because she was beat by a little girl. She asked Justice for help with a deck to make her stronger. Yes, I see that. I tested it. He took an old deck of Maid Luna and adjusted it. I forgot Maid Luna even had it because I was so focused on her frog deck for all that time, and then also the Crystal Beast deck. She was happy and very grateful, but didn't show. She told Justice she had to study for an exam of some kind. Sky, the former Queen of Games, has returned, and I believe two-time tournament champion. Sky has been asked of Justice to head to the school and try to scope out where they took Rosaria. She decided to take her old reliable deck and decides to never forsake it again, the Dark Lords. Recently, she's been noticing Justice talking to himself. She's been getting a little worried about him. We all are. We all are. When the main character is mentally unstable, kind of like Jaden, we're going to struggle. Savannah Salamandra heard that Rosaria was sent somewhere and is going to find her at all costs. She went out against She went out against Justice's back. Oh, he meant to put back. Behind Justice's back, and is gonna sneak around and look for her. Her sisters are trying to think of a plan, but she's too stubborn and hot-headed and went without their knowledge. That is so Savannah Salamander. She may have looked the second weakest. No, she won. She won the tournament. She beat even Lily. I remember that. Yeah, she won a tournament. Well, it was not in this lore, but she won a tournament outside of lore against her sisters, who were also powerful. Super Gwen returns. Her mom sent her to go and attend school at Jim's shack, since it was a cheap option. I gotta pay the bills. But Gwen's not so sure about it. She's not learning math or science, just weird survival topics, and this place sucks. She's in the middle of a swamp, and it stinks, and she hates it here. Oscar Graves, my boy. Oscar and Wild Dan have both been using their high rankings in the most recent pro tournament to further restore the slums, making sure the lines between it and the richer parts of the city get thinner and thinner. They heard about this academy starting, and Oscar was sent to check and see if it's good enough for the Blast Brigade to send their younger members to. Let me just warn you, it's not. Definitely not. Celia Fox has officially ran away from home now after her final attempt at turning against her mother during the battle against the Collective ended in a failure. Because of that, Amanda has retained control over the Fox Corporation and is using that as a way to avoid legal action being taken against her. However, the company seems to be taking a significant nosedive by paying their way out of any consequences. Meanwhile, Celia has become a student in Jim's academy in hopes of finally becoming stronger. Celia is in a rut, unsure of what to do now, especially when it comes to her deck. Her original dragons weren't enough, and now her Simorgs weren't either. The only answer in her mind is to try another new deck. She's smart. You gotta just do it. Clara Rivera. After successfully defeating Francesca, Clara took control of the Rivera family business from her. Soon after, Francesca was arrested for being part of a political conspiracy and other such criminal actions. Aw, the Grand Blue member, no! However, before that, she did leave her sister one more message. I quote, "You will see eventually why the king is far too unstable to rule. Clara." Wait, I said that wrong. Okay, let's start it over again. "You will see eventually why that king is far too unstable to rule, Clara, and why it would have been better our way." I think she's kind of right, because we know what's going to happen, but they don't know what's going to happen. Now Clara uses her wealth and influence to support the education system. Well, we don't have any education out here except the cold hard facts, and helps schools she sees as worth it. She's also leveraging her newfound power in order to try to make sure there isn't another American Academy situation. We do not want planetary alignment situation again. That was a crazy tournament, where the students are mistreated so drastically it's basically torture. Well, this is even worse. She's here to see how the students of Jim's Academy are doing after their entrance exam. Rockstein, the man I'm really worried about, because I don't want to mess up his deck, but also I don't want him to completely dominate the tournament with his new cards, his new Bastion cards. Bastion's new Magna Warriors are in the game, and he's rocking them. So, after Zero Reverse, Rock was shocked to discover the state of the world. His family, ever the determined minds, have been working to help build and rebuild this world. Rock himself, meanwhile, has been continuing to learn as much as he can in different academies and universities in order to use that knowledge to help the world. This led him to Jim's Academy, which is certainly the most scrappy looking of all the schools he's been to, but now they've reached his specialty, studying and training. We could tell he trains by that body he has. Dinah was curious about what the school would do to her after she lost so easily early on, so she decided to throw her duel with Crowler. I love that explanation for what happened to her when Crowler she gave up and Crowler just beat her down. This led to her being thrown into the vent, and it is visibly different afterwards. Despite Dino usually being the system's go-to when it comes to taking possible suffering in order to protect the other altars, it seems Dino was still fronting the entire time they were there. Maybe out of a refusal to put the others through whatever she experienced, especially when it was because of her own spur-of-the-moment plan. She seems very determined to focus on training now in order to succeed in the upcoming test, as if pushing herself in order to not experience that again. Spike, the dragon. Even though Spike and the gang weren't exactly part of Jim's school, still just investigating and such, how do they even get here? They just flew here? He still wants to try to train anyway. He did cheer up from having a fun duel with Chris to try further testing his deck, though pretty mad some of the cards he's using suddenly started glitching, just like Future Fusion. Way too soon for that situation. At least Spike blew off steam by shutting up Jim and Sherry, who tried to down the mood after the duel. Well, time to see if this change works out for Spike's deck. I did my best, Night Shroud. We'll see. Chris Shadow, the beast himself. Even though Chris had some fun with dueling Spike to test Spike's current deck, he does feel awkward finding out a few cards were glitched, apparently, or glitching. Well, gotta figure out replacement cards for Spike and continue training while looking into Jim. Though Jim and his crocodile tried to foul the mood for having a fun duel, but Next minute, we see Jim muffled screaming while stuck in a trash can. Lol. Well, obviously that didn't happen in lore, but it's just fun to think about. Devil Dinosaur. Wow, I haven't seen him in a long time. Dino is pretty... Wait. Oh, I must have... Never mind. Certain cards are finally functioning for, yeah, which is Dinobase. That's what it is. Yeah, he runs Dinobase. And they recently got Justice's castle back. Now this big dino wants to get in on the training, even though he's going to outspeed them for sure with those big legs. Even though he can't do good on the push-ups or the pull-ups because his arms are tiny. Even though he's not really part of Jim's stuff. Granted, Jim can't really object to a big dinosaur barging in. So the poor lad is just stuck with Devil Dinosaur snooping around with Chris. Boy, is Jim sweating nervously big time. Jim doesn't sweat. He perspirates. Yona the Yak. Yona wants to train to smash people harder, to destroy people and leave nothing behind, and also hoping to duel more often. She wonders if she will bump into Rock again for a fun duel. She wants to figure out what tweaks to do for her deck, but now she's got to help the little dragon and pals investigate weird crocodile man in his school. Also, if Yak finds annoying police officer guy again, she's gonna send him flying again, aka Trudge. Yoinking her golem card left a bad taste in her mouth. Sandbar, one of Nitron's very best characters, is getting very weird vibes with this weird school they're all looking into. Though, he's also glad Gallus stopped a certain burn queen, or demon, before she really started to cause problems. He's pretty much hugging the floofy bird cat. In fact, he bumped into Kinyu and seems to vibe with him pretty good. Everyone vibes with Kinyu, except me. I see through his lies. I'm joking. Since everyone is doing some kind of training one way or another, Sandbar might as well do some fun training with his friends. Meanwhile, Jim is thinking he's really high due to seeing all these weird creatures barging into his school. Now, we have 3 new characters from Mitchell Slaughter, and they are Joyce Eisenstein, Sylvia Eisenstein, and Kathy Eisenstein. They all have lore together. The triplet granddaughters of world-famous scientist Dr. Alvin Eisenstein. All 3 are self-professed geniuses, so they're basically Rebecca. Their grandfather is a retired Solhauser employee who works out of his laboratory in Osbuck, which is in Germany. Aside from the girls, the lab is also home to Valerie Steele, who is Phineas's wife, Alvin's daughter, and the triplets' aunt, and to Bastian Masawa, who became Eisenstein's assistant after Dr. Bindoof went rogue. Just like the anime, the triplets have little to no involvement with Solhauser since their grandpa is retired, and Bastian cut ties with the company. Joyce uses a synchrofusion deck and has trained in Ninjutsu at Chiyu Monastery. Oh boy, with the monks. Those monks, we know about them. Sylvia uses an equipped deck with Vylons and power tools and likes building stuff. And Kathy uses a deck of dancing creatures and likes partying with Elizabeth. The 3 of them, along with Elizabeth Steele, enrolled as students at Jim's Academy, while Caroline, Phineas, and Avery continue helping with the restoration efforts in the city. Belle Papillion. Adam Papillion has been at Jim's Academy as a talent. Oh, wait. Sorry. Belle... No, this is Katie. Sorry. This is Belle that I'm doing the lore for. Adam Papillion has been at Jim's Duel Academy as a talent agent for the Papillion Film Studio, while the students are preparing for upcoming exams. Belle drops by to check on Adam and see who he thinks will be good for recruits for staff or actress spots for the film studio. She is surprised to learn that the 4 Ramback kids lost so easily in the entrance exams. Belle suggests to Angela Gabriel to help them at the academy. Belle herself begins preparing film shoots with the students Adam scouted at the academy. And here, right here, is Katie Papillion, her human form, not the Beast Folk form. Now that Katie is rid of Pan and her Beast Folk side, she has begun an actress career at the Papillion Film Studio, with Belle and Adam having found several students at Jim's Academy worthy of film and TV roles. Katie decided to enroll as a student there and convinced Karen Bertram to join her. Mint Uriel, however, is busy working at Henry's Forge and overseeing the rebuilding efforts alongside him. Katie is worried that Pan may one day return, but the Preakness sisters told her that Salem Crystal and Esperanza sealed the wild deity away with a ritual. She hopes that Jim's Academy provides adequate preparation for if that day ever comes. Now, two new characters, and the only two characters, well, then technically only one of them is new. This one is not. The Chaz. Chaz it up, Chaz it up. Yeah. All right, so tasked with being a backup teacher for the training course in the wild, hates being number 2, and that his idiot brother failed so hard in the duels before, looking to upstage Bastion's brother, which, there you go, it's not Bastion, this is brother, to obtain the higher ranking in his favor. And the new character I had to hand draw, Hiro Misawa, Bastion's brother, an extremely arrogant teacher. Jim personally puts him in charge of training courses in the wild due to his strict regimen. So, yeah, I don't want too much to be known about him. He's a lot darker version of Bastion. Similar to the manga version, kind of, but what darker than that. So, there's your 22 duelist. I really hope you guys enjoyed Jim's training regimen. And remember to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. The channel's Ames Manga. I shall see you for the next one. For the tournament. Bye.